So before we get into actually drawing the eye, I would like to go into the 3D shapes that make up the eye. So what I'm going to do here is use a soft brush for now. So first we'll imagine a hole. It's not going to be quite round, but almost. We know that we'll imagine the light source will be coming from kind of this direction here. Understanding these fundamental 3D forms of the eye will help when you're drawing the eye. So first I want to cover this before we get into the actual eye itself and parts that are important to pay attention to. So if the light's coming from here and this is a hole, then you know this part of the hole is going to be lit up by the light, and this part of the hole is going to be darkest. That's what you'd expect if we had a crater in the ground here, or a hole. Okay. Next thing that goes inside the eye. So first the eye is set in its socket, right? There's an egg shape that's inside of that. I'll go ahead and paint it light first. So let's imagine that there's this kind of egg. I'm just going to call it the egg. So the egg is set inside like this. Now if the egg's set inside here, the light's coming from this way, and this is sticking out, so the hole's going in. So since the hole's going in, we know that when the light comes over, this part will be dark, and this part down here will be light like we have. The egg is going to be opposite because it's sticking out. So this part over here is going to be the darkest of the egg, and then that part would be the lightest. So we'd have something about like so. It's not a whole egg. The egg is mostly, like imagine this is a 3D program, the egg is mostly stuck inside of the hole. Next there's a flap of skin that kind of runs all along right here, like so. And since the light's coming from this direction, it's really going to hit the part that sticks out the most. And then the parts that it is going to be darkened, like so, that part, and then it'll be kind of dark over there like that. Anyway. Now understanding this here will actually help. I'm going to turn the opacity down just a bit so you can see what happens when we draw on top of this. I'm just going to do this really quick just so you can see the importance of these shapes and how they play out when drawing an eye. So first thing we'll do is we'll draw tear duct. We'll go into the parts of the eye that's important, but I just need to draw it really quick. That part's not really important. So I'm following that egg shape there, and since there's going to be a fold of skin there, that part will be dark. And that fold of skin comes around like that. Remember this part all here is dark. Up to there, and that part right there will receive light, and a little bit of that is going to receive light as well. Actually, kind of drew that wrong there. That should actually come up like that. So that's why it's important to know. And then the eyebrow would come up there. Okay, so this is why it's important to understand the three-dimensional shapes that go into making up the eyeball. That way when you're drawing the eyeball you can imagine the light source, and then you can know how to draw the eye based around that light source. So if the light was coming from this direction here, then we know that this would receive most of the light, so you just really quickly if you redid another circle, we know the light would be darker over here, and it'd be, I keep hitting the wrong key here, lighter over there. Then you'd have your egg shape set inside of that. And we know the egg shape would then be darkest over there, lightest there, and it'd kind of come around like so. And then you would just draw your eye, and then that way it'd be, you know, the lighting would be different. Okay. Now let's get into the construction of the eye then. I'm going to draw it within a context here, so it's just better having some sort of context when you're drawing. So I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give myself some guidelines, so I know that that's to be where about the inside of my eye is gonna be, and I know to be the same length as this here. And I know I'm gonna have about half an eye length. That's gonna be like about like there. So I know my edge of my eyes will be about here. I'll give myself a little line like that. Okay. So first thing I like to do when I'm drawing my eye is to kind of make a diagonal line coming up like this. Now if I wanted a more puppy dog eye, I can actually come up higher and then draw the part and then kind of come like that. That would give me more puppy dog eye anyway. Okay. Next I'm going to draw a line that kind of goes like so. This line here is not going to come down as far, and it's going to kind of curve up like that into that tear duct, and there'll be a tear duct like that. Now a cool trick is you can go to Image, Rotate Canvas 90 degrees. You can actually set shortcuts for that as well to make it faster. And what this just makes it easier for me at least to draw, so I can just do it one stroke rather than having to be so careful, because it's easier for me to, I'm going to have this line come up. Remember, this line is there because of that egg, remember? And because of my light's going to be coming from that direction, this part of the fold will be darker, but this part of the egg, all this part of the egg over here, is going to be darkest. Kind of come up like that. That part of there will receive some light. And it'll kind of come like that. I'm going to go ahead and rotate my canvas back the other way. Okay. Since I have the eye closed a lot, I know not a whole lot of the eye would be showing. Also, one thing I always do when I paint eyes or draw eyes is I always have a darker, all of that right there is darker, even for a guy. And then it kind of fades down, and then I can draw some tiny little details. Like so. And since I know my light source is coming from this direction like this, sort of down a little bit, I can have my highlight there. So I kind of have that side a little more light than that side. Now when drawing eyelashes, remember there's a little, get my black back, it's a little bit of skin right along here. And eyelashes go between there's two pieces of skin. Then I'm going to actually shade some of this here.